Just stupid. Just 100% stupid. The fact that we're even talking about Tyson Fury and AJ not happening in the UK. Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. You're going to find a way to win or find a way to lose when it comes to boxing. You can also find a way to win or lose fans by making stupid management decisions, like taking the Tyson Fury versus AJ fight, a fight that I pretty much feel not many people expect these guys to put on an optimal performance. But at the end of the day, these two guys are from the UK. Why in the world would anyone think about having these two fight each other, the biggest fight in British boxing history, anywhere but right there in England? Oh, Lord have mercy, man. Let me tell you something. I know that it's not officially New York where the fight's taking place, but it seems to be going that direction. But let me tell you, stealing this fight from Britain is a failure. This is the fight Britain fans have been waiting for years. You got to understand what AJ and Fury represent, man. Two British heavyweight stars, two former world champions, enormous personalities, fighters whose careers have been intertwined for more than a decade. And now after years and years of, where's AJ, where's Fury, make the fight. Why won't they fight? This is a travesty. The fight finally appears close to happening, precisely why British fans are asking, why are we losing the fight? You mean to tell me you guys had to make the British fans wait all this time just to come out here and not make the damn fight in the UK? To that I say, in the most respectful way, someone out there who's making these decisions needs to hold their horses and stop taking it to the goddamn stupid. The original agreement reportedly called for the fight to take place in the United Kingdom. Eddie Hearn and Matchroom have been going crazy over this, repeatedly emphasizing that position. They know what a benefit this fight can be to the local economy. Eddie Hearn is right. This is bullshit. He should be out here ranting and raving, and he shouldn't care who he offends. I agree with Eddie Hearn. See, Madison Square Garden in New York emerged as a preferred alternative. I mean, what are we doing? Why? I mean, matter of fact, there's no need to ask the question why, because it's stupid. This is rubbish. It shouldn't happen. Pushing New York? You mean to tell me that the business side is that important? The economics? You should be looking at where will the most British fans attend, and that's it. But instead, they're looking at, oh, well, they can just buy the tickets and fly over. And plus, we need to understand the American television audiences, the Netflix's international audience, U.S. primetime scheduling, venue economics, international sponsorships, Saudi-backed financing, so what they say goes, promotional control, undercard opportunities, global media exposure. That's what it is. It's not about the fans. It's about the promotion. It's about Turki Alalshikh. As a matter of fact, reports indicate what I read was Turki Alalshikh and Netflix have been pushing towards New York. That's a problem, but they run shit. And then New York's Joshua's side has been insisting that the existing agreement calls for Britain. You see? So you got a problem. And then there's a scheduling issue. And I do think a British stadium event designed around American primetime could push the actual ring walks extremely late in the UK. Wembley has operational curfew, considerations that make US-friendly scheduling difficult. So it's just an issue. You had a fight in New York. It solves a problem for American broadcasting audiences, but it creates a problem for the British audience. Why do they care about the stupid-ass American audience? These aren't American fighters. These are two of British finest heavyweights. But you're going to bring that shit to New York? British fans should be angry. They need to get all them damn football hooligans and bring them over here and destroy wherever this fight is going to take place in New York, Madison Square Garden. Just start running up and down the road biting people. Start taking bottles and pelting them at people. You know, you got a British fan. Just imagine a British fan who supported Anthony Joshua from the beginning. Bought tickets, watched the Wembley fights, followed his career, watched Tyson Fury rise from the comeback trail to heavyweight champion, watching both men become international stars. Like, you sat back, you watched all that. Just imagine. And now they finally fight each other. You're excited. You're like, hell yeah, here we go. You're ready to go buy your ticket. Then potentially you're told, watch it from New York. You're going to say, hey, yo, hold your horse and stop taking it to the stupid. That feels backwards. This isn't just another heavyweight fight. It's arguably the biggest all-British heavyweight event in the modern era. Why are y'all doing this? America didn't help build the commercial value of these guys. We did that over here in the fucking UK. What are you doing? So I understand I agree. I'm telling you, even I'm ready to run up and down the road, start biting people. You know what I'm saying? In my Tyson Fury voice. I beat them fair and square. I beat them fair and square. Deontay Wilder doesn't want to give me credit. See, the secret society has always been on Fury's side and AJ's side, but now the secret society is on the secret society side. Britain built the fight. Britain should get the fight. It's that simple. Britain built the fight. Britain should get the fight. There's like nothing else to discuss here. Anybody want to argue with me, man, feel free to go in the comments and I'll just come and blitz your ass. It's already showing up. The sentiment is already showing up strongly among boxing fans online because they're pissed. We want to hear the fights taking place at Wembley. We don't give a shit about Madison Square Garden. This is really the emotional heart of the controversy. Who cares about Madison Square Garden? I know there's pros to everything, but there are cons too. But if you have it at Wembley, I mean, British fighters fight in Britain. That's how it's supposed to be, right? Massive stadium atmosphere, national significance, easier for the British fans. Could get 90,000 plus spectators. I'm sure they will. It'll be a historic setting. But if you go to MSG, Madison Square Garden in New York, well, now you got American primetime audience, global media exposure, Netflix-friendly scheduling. That's what I think has a lot to do with it, man. Iconic American boxing venues, strong commercial opportunities, and potentially easier integration with a U.S.-focused event strategy. So when I break it down like that, you can see neither argument is irrational. This is why negotiations get so complicated. I can understand why they would have it at MSG, but at the end of the day, bite the bullet, figure it out. Make the American fans get their ass up to watch it. Have that fight at Wembley, But then there's the money. I understand. I understand. I just don't agree with it. One of the biggest sticking points seems to be the compensation for Joshua if the fight moves to America. Eddie Hearn is out here raising hell. He's argued that moving the event overseas creates additional financial considerations because of them taxes. Joshua made a bunch of money fighting Jake Paul in Miami, like 100-something million, but the IRS took half of that shit. So, you go out there and make a damn near $200 million payday, and they just take half of your shit, just like that. That sucks. So reports are saying Joshua's team has sought additional money to compensate for those consequences. Of course. They don't want to get screwed like they did in the Jake Paul fight. And you got to understand AJ's perspective. It's not being greedy, it's negotiation. The original deal says UK. Now somebody wants USA. Then changing the location changes the economics. Joshua's team can reasonably say, if you want us to change the deal, compensate us for changing the deal. I agree. That's how major business negotiations work. I do agree with that. If I'm going to lose $70 million, throw another $70 million on top. Then no problem. What was initially guaranteed to me, I'll still pocket that. They don't want to pay all them taxes, man. And then you got Tyson Fury. This man is, ever since, it goes back to him hooking up with Daniel Kinahan. Once Tyson Fury hooked up with Daniel Kinahan, since then, he's always been the center of the conversation and kind of dictating and running shit in the heavyweight division. But even Fury seems to be a little bit publicly frustrated, man. Because I was reading, which article is that? I can't remember the article, but he was suggesting that the fight could collapse over the disagreement and criticize Joshua's side over the money negotiations. Now, I think that's significant because the fight was already something fans felt was about to reach its expiration date, but it's significant also because, again, like I said, the fight's taking so many years to materialize. Every additional delay creates another opportunity for something to go wrong, and that's why I wouldn't be surprised if AJ pulls out, you know. But you got to understand this pulling out and rescheduling and playing the game. These guys are old, man. You got to look at their age, injuries that they've had, losses, contract disputes now, promotional disagreements. You got venue disputes, broadcast disputes. At some point, fans are going to say what they're saying right now. They're going to get frustrated. They're going to be like, man, y'all shut up, stop taking it to the stupid and just fight. You know what I'm saying? But I just think when you look at it, I think the bigger question is, who's the fight for? That's the philosophical question. Like, is this shit for the British? Or are Fury and AJ global products? I mean, they're global products, but I think they're more British than anything. You know what I'm saying? Have the fight in Britain and stop. This is really dumb. And I understand the economics. I understand everything. Turki Alalshikh looking at his brand. He wants to keep growing it. So I understand. But a British fight and a global boxing product, Turki Alalshikh has to understand that's not the same thing. If you view Fury Joshua as the culmination of British heavyweight boxing, Wembley makes almost perfect emotional sense. But if you view it as a $300 million global entertainment property that needs to maximize American and international television exposure, well, New York makes commercial sense. That's the conflict. You're going against the commercial energy versus the emotional energy. But in this case, I think there's a way for the commercial energy and emotional energy to synergize, and then where it becomes a win-win across the board. But right now, it's not, and that's the conflict. You know, and you know, the more I think about it, I think Netflix is really changing everything about it, because the guys at Netflix, if they're gonna put up a bunch of money for this fight to take place, they need to make sure they get the kind of views that where they're gonna go a direction that they know is a win-win. Because Netflix isn't thinking about traditional boxing, British promotion. You know, they're thinking, how many people can we get to watch this worldwide? That's all. That's all it is. You had an event in New York. It allows a broadcast to be built around an American primetime audience, rather than asking U.S. viewers to stay awake to the early hours. And this is enormously valuable. Netflix has already teased the fight, even though the date and venue are still unresolved. So I understand Netflix's position, but here's the danger. The negotiation is dragging on too long. The fight itself could become damaged, and I think AJ's gonna pull out. You can look at Fury's manager, Spencer Brown. He's expressed concern about the delay and possibility that, okay, one thing for the fans to lose interest in our supporters. Well, it's one thing for AJ to pull out, but if the fans lose interest in not supporters, then nothing matters. But without the fans, this fight means nothing. And that's the last thing boxing wants. All these years telling fans Fury and AJ is coming for people to stop believing in you because somebody's out here thinking more about the commercial success instead of, thinking about emotionally what the fans want and need. And there's actually another irony. Both men just had comeback fights. Joshua survived that frightening first round against Prenger before stopping him in the second, and Fury stopped Mario Swak, who went on to fight in like a 6-on-1 competition and got his ass tore out the frame. But the bottom line is the heavyweight super fight is sitting behind a contractual and venue dispute. So the question isn't really whether a man wants to fight. It's who gets what they want before they get into the ring. Like that's what I think this boils down to. So, in my opinion, British fans, you guys are right. Y'all are absolutely justified to be disappointed. Y'all should be pissed off and raising hell. I know I would. But I wouldn't automatically call the New York proposal disrespectful to Britain. But I would automatically say that this conversation should have happened a while ago, and the people in there with the most sense would have said, "Look, we understand the economics, but this one's for the UK." And they should have never came out talking about where the fight was going to end up before they had finalized it. But again, it was already agreed to in the contract. Now they want to change it. But I understand when it comes to business and the arguments, they're legitimate. But I just think if the fight was originally contracted for Britain, then moving it to New York should require a serious renegotiation. And that's apparently what we're seeing, the renegotiation. And the most frustrating part for British fans, it's not necessarily New York is bad. It's why did we wait this long for the biggest British fight ever? Only to find out the business people may decide it belongs in America. And I'm going to tell you, that's the story. But even I'm sitting here saying, for AJ and Fury, do y'all even care about the people from the UK watching y'all? Or y'all more care about y'all money? Because it sounds like even for AJ, if he gets what he wants to make the fight go forward in America, he's cool. So he's just thinking about the money. They ain't thinking about fighting in front of the UK. They're not thinking about that. Everybody can watch TV. And those who fly over will just fly over. So I think it's crazy. But Britain has every right to be furious because they're stealing this fight from him, man. Crazy. To New York City. What a joke. Keep cool. I'm in the breeze.